A key challenge for women worldwide, especially poor rural women, is to be listened to, is for the community, for the government, for donors or NGOs to listen. Listen to what the people who are doing the work actually need. And if we think about agriculture, in much of the developing world, and certainly in Africa, we know that women are the primary farmers. Women spend most of their days, if they live in rural areas, working in agriculture. And yet they are not the people still who are reached by traditional extension services. They are not the people who traditionally go to meetings to hear the latest new technology being discussed. And they are often not the people that someone creating a new project will go and talk to about what their needs are in the project. And it's hard to reach those women because, after all, they wake up early in the morning, take care of the children, feed the children. They might have to milk the cow if they're lucky enough to own one, take the milk to the co-op. Then they go to the field for the day, babies on their backs, little children working in the field. They come home and prepare dinner for their husbands and for their family. They may have to fetch the firewood and the water to cook the meal. And by the end of the day, it's time to go to bed. When is it that they're going to be able to go somewhere to find out about a new technology or a new process? Unless we go to them and find ways to listen to them and what they need, we're never going to be as effective in increasing agriculture production and improving nutritional outcomes as we could be if we listen to women. There are new approaches that we can think about in reaching women. For instance, radio in most communities exists and most people have radios. Using radio for extension to send information about new agricultural improvements to women is really important. But it's important first to ask women, what do they want to hear about? What new crop, for instance, would be a good one to introduce into their community that they would want to tend and they would want to sell or use to feed their family? And then when a program is put on the radio once a week, for instance, about how to grow tomatoes, how to deal with a new kind of cassava plant, well, then the researchers have to be sure that they know when women listen to the radio and when they have unobstructed access to that radio. Otherwise, all of the rest of that work will be wasted. But we can do things like that. We just have to think through the gender implications of the kinds of work that we want to do to support agricultural development, agricultural productivity, and better nutritional outcomes. Everyone affiliated with the CG system is committed to ending hunger. It's committing to extending the Norman Borlaug vision to be sure that there's enough food in the world and that people can grow their own food. In order to be successful, however, we need to be sure that we're listening to women at every level. Before we develop a new seed, we have to understand what it's going to take in order to grow that seed. Is it going to take longer? What is it going to be more complicated for the people, women or men, who are planting it? Is it going to be more difficult to harvest? And is it going to take longer to cook? Is it going to take more water and more firewood? What is it going to taste like? All of those kind of things a scientist has to think about or risk the possibility of her or his work not being adaptable. Thinking about the needs of women along the whole process of development and research is critically important. And researchers can go to some of the work done by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they did a checklist on things to think about as you're developing a project in terms of what women's needs are and what men's needs are. But all of that is critical to success. It's also important to have more women scientists so that they can have dialogues in communities with women who cannot speak with strange men. So it's important from a business perspective to put more emphasis on women in the field, women who would be beneficiaries, and women who would be colleagues.